Hey, Mindshifters, how are you guys? You probably will hear some noise. It's in the morning, and so there's a lot of activity that you can hear from the military, from the groundsmen and kids and everything. So this video is about how when I was doing my taxes this weekend, utilizing Tax Act, I realized that the amount of money owed to federal wasn't changing. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with when you do your own taxes or you use one of those software like TurboTax or Tax Act. Normally, as you're putting your information in, well, in my experience, as I put my information in, the number goes down. The last year, I owed, but it wasn't a lot of money that I owed, and that's kind of what you want. You want to either break even or you want to owe just a little bit. So remember, I told you that I had multiple jobs last year, and things like that. So let me explain to you how I end up owing Uncle Sam $15,000 in taxes, and how you should, just be mindful of certain things because I don't want this to happen to you. And maybe you guys already know this, but if there's just one person that I can help, that's just perfect. So last year, like I said, I had multiple jobs that, generated a W-4. And then I have a W-2 for because I filled out a W-4 for as well. And I don't know if it's because of the 2017 tax cuts and the different tax changes, but IRS has a new W-4 form. The one that they used to have is the one where you actually kind of calculate ones and zeros, and that's how you determine your allowances. And essentially, your allowances or whatever you selected on the previous form, it would help you. It would help your employer figure out how much taxes to withhold. And a lot of times people would put too much, and they weren't getting a lot of their check and they end up getting a refund at the end of the year. The reason why you get a refund is because your employer withheld too much money. And that's why you hear people sometimes talk about interest-free loan to the government. So I started the Dave Ramsey program and I was hitting it hard, like I think August of 2019. And one of the things they recommend is for you to adjust your, check, assess your withholdings and adjust it. And so that's what I did. Now, I clearly did that incorrectly. But let me tell you, there were a lot of things going on because I was like, man, Dave Ramsey is right. Like, my checks are getting, I was actually netting probably a few $100s per check. And I'm like, man, I was giving Uncle Sam all this money. No. When I did an investigation, because in my mind, I'm thinking when I go to work tonight, I'm going to send an email to HR and hopefully they can help. Maybe there's a mistake. But you guys know I used to be an analyst, so I actually looked at last year's tax return against this year's tax return. And even when you go in the system, you can kind of compare. And I said, why does it show that I only paid the federal government $500? It's not funny. So I look and yeah, I only paid $500. Then I go and I look at all my pay stubs, and yeah, I only paid the federal government the technical or specifically $534. So I looked at what I've been paying in the past, and it's been like 11,000 in federal taxes. So thankfully, I didn't make any changes to my state withholding, so that's the same. So that's number one. Number one, make sure that your employer is withholding the right amount, and seek a tax professional, which after I get off this video, I'm going to do. There's nothing I can do this year, but just kind of figure out what if IRS will work with me. I wish I could show you guys my debt snowball. Like, I was really like paying down my TSP loan, but I'm somehow going to have to probably add the IRS after that. Or I think Dave Ramsey, you have to try to pay the IRS first. I may have to stop my debt snowball and just put everything towards the IRS. And I went on the site last night, and I'll go over that because I'll just go over that. So I have to sort of make some decisions because I owe Uncle Sam $15,000. So one is to make sure your employer is withholding the right amount. So reach out to your HR. My HR doesn't give advice. Some other companies they do, but if your HR, they have like actual consultants, like sit down with them or seek a tax professional. And they have something called tax preparation and tax planning. So you want to talk to the people about tax planning. That's who I'm reaching out this morning. It's like, I need someone to sit down with me and to show me how to optimize the taxes. One, I'm not can't worried about a refund, but I don't want to owe, or I don't want to owe $15,000. So that's number one. Number two, realize too this year with a lot of changes, and I noticed that they asked if you got a stimulus. So I never got the full amount of stimulus, but I did get stimulus, like I think for Eric, because it was based off of 2019. And I didn't get anything for this third round. So just realize that they're doing something with that stimulus as well. I can't speak to that. So I know there's a lot of tax people online. So be mindful of that. I think unemployment, I think there's some things that you're going to have to, you will see that you are actually paying for when you file your taxes, even if there's some assistance you receive. So just be mindful of that. I'm not learned about that, but just be mindful of that. And if you can afford a tax professional, or if you know a tax professional in your family and friend network, please reach out to them. Also, the payroll tax. So I want to say, I don't think I have that issue, but remember, during 2020, the previous administration, they actually withheld your payroll tax, which funds Social Security. But anyways, but a lot of people may have seen a bump in their paychecks as well during that time. And the whole thought was if that previous administration had stayed, that they would have made it permanent. But most employers did withhold it, or they kept it on the side. Most employers, I think, accounted for that. I think I don't have that issue, but I am going to double check with HR to see if that's another reason why I owe as much. Like I said, normally I pay 10 to 11,000 to federal government, so 15. Oh, also know your status. Your status as a tax filer. Normally, I file head of household, and normally I file head of household of a minor. For 2020, Eric turned 18. So 2019, he was 17. That's how I was able to get some of the stimulus. I think the first two, they had extended it to 17. I think, again, this last round, I think the cutoff was 16. Don't quote me on that. But so now Eric is 18, so he's not eligible for any of the child tax credit that I would normally get, even though that has just decreased over the years, or I think it decreases as the kids gets older or something like that. I did initially have him as a dependent, which would have given me $500, but we're going to do his tax. We're going to sit down this weekend and really go through, because I may change. I was head of household when I did the 15,000. I could owe more. I think I'm going to change it to single so he can file his taxes and claim, that he's his dependent. I don't know. We're going to figure some stuff out, because I definitely want to make sure now that he's working, even though it's part-time, that it optimizes his life and things like that. So I just wanted to tell you guys, let's go over this list again. Make sure your employer is withholding enough. Reach out to a tax professional to figure out how to optimize your situation. Also, make sure that you're mindful that if you did receive something, it may cause your tax bill to go up this year, as well as a stimulus. And just make sure you're paying attention. I think I did see the W-4 and I wasn't sure how to do it. And I just I don't know. Clearly I didn't do something right. And just make sure if there's something new, you don't know how to do it. This is why we have professionals, and you may not want to pay that upfront cost, but it would have saved me $15,000. Now, so hopefully that helps. So just make sure, that's why I owe $15,000 to Uncle Sam. And that's kind of where I am. Now, what is my plan? And why am I so relaxed and not calm? And at the end of the day, God is God. And I'm so grateful to wake up, to be talking to you guys, health and strength. So I really kind of look at things a lot differently now. And it's all going to work out. I'm not going to, and do another video about that. I'm not doing the multiple jobs because I want to refocus on my health and just living. But I am in a good spot to just, make payments and, and eventually it'll all work out. So that's kind of the story on that. And I was doing, and that to me, and if you're doing a Dave Ramsey or you're just doing a get out of debt plan, like I wish I could show you guys my debt snowball. I'm like doing so well, and that's sometimes how it happens in life. Something comes along to sort of trip you up, and what lessons have we learned? Just like it's going to work out. It's totally going to work out. I think I was going to do another video. I'll go in more depth, but I checked the IRS and they do have payment plans, but there's a lot of foolery with that. So I think there's a short term and a long term. The short term, there's no fees. I think that's only 4 months. And the long term is, if you need a longer term plan, it's it's kind of like remind me of student loans. It's like daily accrual. It's a fee to set up the payment. It's kind of crazy. So what I am going to do is I am going to wait until I think they extended the tax deadline to May 17th. So I am going to wait till that time to actually file my taxes. Like I'm going to have it all prepared, but I am going to wait till that time just so the clock doesn't start until I guess May or June. So that's where we're learning in life, is to kind of think about things. We don't have to react. We can respond. But I'm so glad now I'm actually looking at my W-2 and I'm kind of looking at how things are. So hopefully the tax planning person can help. And of course, I'll come back with you guys to help you guys with that. So I hope this helps. And I'll be doing more videos. I got some more keto meals coming because I'm just hitting that hard. And fitness is still lagging. My son had a talk with me, and but he's going to help me. So sometimes you do need help or accountability partners. So I really appreciate him for that, and I appreciate you guys. Okay, bye.